On in Pittsburgh right now, Colin. Tom Pelissaro is reporting the Steelers plan to give Russell Wilson first-team reps in practice this week, with Mike Tomlin adding that Russ is in consideration to start Week 7 against the New York Jets. Colin, this is a bit of a shocking development. We knew Russ was going to be in the mix, but, Pittsburgh's 4-2. This is a huge game against the Jets in the conference, and you're going to maybe dump Fields?
I'm going to give the Steelers credit. So they are a defensive culture. Kenny Pickett got them to the playoffs. They moved off him. They have a 4-2 record, just win. Are they going to move off him? So that I got to give Mike Tomlin credit. He's not tone deaf. He moved off quarterbacks with winning records, with getting me into the playoffs, winning games. A lot of coaches won't do that. Pete Carroll's stuck with Geno Smith. He's good enough. What Mike Tomlin's saying with Kenny Pickett, he's not good enough. What he's saying with Justin Fields, we can do better. And I will tell you, what it tells me is he is leaning on Arthur Smith a little bit here. And Arthur's saying, Mike may be saying, hey, we got to be winning these games. We handed Dallas a win, and Arthur's probably saying privately, I'm doing all we can do here.
Wow. So you're kind of endorsing this?
It's not even an endorsement. It's an acknowledgement of what the Steelers, I wasn't sure they were capable of this. Yesterday, I did a rant on they're 4-2. We got our guy.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. We would agree.
It's not a sustainable method to win in the NFL big time.
I'll tell you right now, if you're the New York Jets defense, you'd rather see Russell Wilson than Justin Fields. Justin Fields can break the pocket, scramble for 15, 20 yards a pop.
Did you notice without Robert Saleh, the Jets defense was a little leaky last night?
Against the run, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Left the best coach in the organization.
Well, the Niners ran all over them. Listen, bottom line is, bring on Russell Wilson. I think that's good news for the Jets. My guess is, and I'm seeing they're favored here by 1.5. I think the Jets are probably the side here if Russell Wilson starts. I'm not doubting him, but I'm just not afraid of Russ.
There are 3 games this week I love. Rams off a bye, Jets against the Steelers, and Minnesota off a bye against Detroit. Those are, lock them in right now. I already told you I locked in the Rams number yesterday at 5. Now with Devontae Adams out, that number will go up.
Well, we don't know if he's going to play yet, but I do need to ask, what does this potentially do to the locker room, who we know likes Justin Fields, and Russ has a bit of a recent history?
I don't know.
This is a risky move by Tomlin, man. Oof. He usually has a good feel for his team. He's one of the great coaches in the league, but Colin, this feels, oh boy.
I got to tell you something. Makes you want to watch that Steeler game.
Well, you're going to watch Steelers Jets.
Well, I'm going to watch it anyway, but it's interesting. It is very hard to bench a very liked player off a win when you have a winning record. It's like firing Saleh when you know if you win the next game, you're in first place over Buffalo, 4 years in a row, 4 years in succession. I think they've won the AFC East. What are you doing? Saleh wins this game. I think last night with Saleh, they would have won the game if he would have been allowed to demote Nat Hackett, which apparently got him fired. I think Saleh's the best coach they had.
Yeah. I'm stunned at this Tomlin stuff. All right, next up, Colin, Sunday on Fox, big Super Bowl rematch. Niners hosting the Chiefs in America's Game of the Week. KC beat Sanford in the Super Bowl. Excuse me. Game-winning touchdown in overtime. Trent Williams is downplaying the revenge angle.
It's another game. It's not like we can get payback for losing in the Super Bowl. That ship has sailed. So it's another game. We got to come out and try to play complimentary football. We got to, obviously, we know what type of team that is. One of the best teams in the league. All-star quarterback. Great coach. So it's going to be a tough game.
Can you imagine? He moves out to the left, and you're a cornerback, and here comes Trent Williams to block you. That guy is a house. I think it's more than just that. I think the game feels it feels big. It's a big stage with 2 great teams. I think the Niners are going to win that game. I think Kansas City's been playing with fire for too long. I think at some point you can't play these close games time after time after time.
The Chiefs are coming off the bye, right? Reed has some time to cook up some stuff, get Kareem Hunt on the right page, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
They still don't have Rashee Rice.
They're not getting him anytime soon. I did just look up some stats because I'm a fantasy nerd. You want to guess who the worst team is in the league defending tight end so far this year?
Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their linebackers stink. So this could be a big George Kittle game And we know over the middle of the field, Shanahan's offense loves to eat. So you're probably right. It's just...
The last 5 times I've bet Kansas City against them, I've lost. And it's been over like 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't bet the Chiefs very much. I don't mess with them. I just don't.
You're tempting fate here.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you watch who I bet, I find 3 or 4 or 5 teams in the league that I feel, I tend to find really good quarterback play. Last week, I bet all the best quarterbacks. In fact, I thought the Bills would win last night. I predicted, but I took the Jets and the points. The best quarterback won every game this week. Now, that's not going to continue on because Brock Purdy is also better than a lot of the bad quarterbacks that lost. But you get to about week 5, 6, 7, everybody starts figuring out we've all got film on everybody, and the bad teams start realizing you start losing guys. On the hot seat, on a bye, so we heard the radio people and the media people clobbering all week in Philadelphia. At home, starts taunting and jousting with the fans as they play Cleveland. Embarrassing. I had said yesterday he's going to get called into the office. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, that is not going to fly with the Eagles organization. That is not his job. He doesn't even know what his role is. I mean, security guy, Big Dom, knows what his role is. This guy apparently doesn't, and here he apologized for this move.
I was trying to bring energy yesterday, enthusiasm yesterday. And I'm sorry and disappointed on how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And, my energy should be all in on coaching, motivating, right, and celebrating with our guys.
I wanted to bring energy. Okay, we're going to do a new segment called Stadium DJ or Head Coach. Who said it? I want to bring new big energy. What are you doing? We got a breakup coming. We got a breakup coming. And right before breakups, one of the people in the relationship starts acting weird, shave the head, jousting with fans, bring your kids to the podium, and years later you look at it and you're kind of embarrassed. Here's the reality of this team. He's an offensive coach. Now think about this. The Lions, the Chargers, and the Titans all had offensive coaches and were all on a bye. They all scored touchdowns and took a lead in the first quarter. That's what offensive coaches do on a bye. Andy Reid, McVay this week on a bye, facing the Raiders. They'll have a very nice first quarter. The Eagles in a bye with a loaded stack roster with their 2-star receivers back. First 2 drives. Jalen Hurts 0 for 5, 2 punts. Against Cleveland, a team that's quit. So the last 20 years, teams that haven't scored in the first quarter through 5 games, Philadelphia is the only team in the league. 1 has made the playoffs. The Jets 20 years ago, 18 years ago. So that's the reality. Offensive coaches off a bye, almost always, early in a game, they put in some tricks. You see what Andy Reid does off a bye, McVay, Shanahan. The big story today is that Davante Adams has been acquired. Ian Rappaport broke the story. Davante Adams, Raiders, who, let's be honest, Raiders want to finish with a number 1 pick and probably go get a Shedeur Sanders, go get a quarterback. Shedeur, to me, separated from the rest of college football. I thought he had a great weekend against a good team. I don't know, does Davante Adams make you great? Well, they have an interim coach. So your interim coach is not going to go toe-to-toe in the playoffs with John Harbaugh or Andy Reid and outduel them. So I think interim coaches take you out of the Super Bowl conversation in the better conference. The other thing to consider here with Aaron Rodgers, he's getting beat up. Bad knee, bad ankle. So I do think that Davante Adams makes the Jets more interesting. But if you're 2-4, you only have 11% chance to make the playoffs. I think the Jets are better than 11% chance to get there, mostly because New England's the worst team in the league and Tua's not playing for Miami. So if the Jets were in, the NFC North, season's over. The season's over. There are divisions, the season's over. I think the Jets, Miami, if Tua's hurt again, they may just move off him and swallow that contract. So, and New England, we all know the story here. They're drafting 1 or 2 or 3. I predicted 9-8. I will say this. I said this morning. So the Jets are 2-4. I'll give you the 7 games I think the Jets are going to win. I'll give you the schedule right now. I think they're going to beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. That's going to be a win. I think they're going to beat New England at New England for obvious reasons. Houston is a go-either-way game. C.J. Stroud, if Joe Mixon plays, I would take Houston. I also think Arizona there is hit or miss.